Some wrestlers just look odd with certain titles. For example, I always imagine The Undertaker with the spinner WWE Championship. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
I'm a dead man, but sometimes I like to play, rest in peace, with my spinner championship.
But come on. So I came up with this dumbass video idea where I tried to look at wrestlers who look kinda wrong with certain WWE titles that they won. You know how Edge is synonymous with the World Heavyweight Championship, or Cena is synonymous with the Spinner Championship, but then they win the other title and it's kinda odd. It's hard to explain, but it's a phenomenon. Of course, first we have Randy Orton with the United States Championship. He won that championship, I believe, against Bobby Roode. I could be totally wrong, eventually losing it to Jinder Mahal at WrestleMania. So this was a very short championship title reign, and I gotta say, it doesn't look bad, but given the fact this championship title reign was like a month old, it's kinda odd seeing Randy Orton with his championship, especially at the peak of his career, so it's always kind of odd. I guess it was kind of normalized back then because John Cena held the championship, he had the open challenge, but still, seeing Randy Orton with his championship was always kind of silly anyway, and this picture is always floating around the internet. Did Randy Orton actually win the United States Championship? When? Against who? And how? Up next, we have JBL with the Intercontinental Championship. Now, it's not that weird to me because I believe he lost the championship to Rey Mysterio at WrestleMania 25 and retired after losing it. And he is still retired to this day. One of these men who actually kept the promise, kept the word, a man of his word, man of his word. It is kind of odd though, because this looks like if Chris Jericho had a great night. Great night. He wakes up and there's a photo shoot. So he has to pose with the championship. He forgot his pants. If I had bad vision, I would think it's Chris Jericho. This is an unpopular opinion, but I always like that version of the Intercontinental Championship. I think it's absolutely beautiful. Then we have the coaster itself with the WWE Tag Team titles. Man, I do not miss that version of the championship. Versions of the championship. One is red, one is blue, because Raw and SmackDown, you get it? Raw and SmackDown. One's red, one's blue. Gotta have these championships. So he won these titles with Jey Uso. It was a short title reign that should have been probably a bit longer because it was kind of fun. The Jey Uso, drunk celebration. It does look odd, and some people probably already forgot he held these championships, especially since he was coming for the WWE title. Why is he with the Tag Team Championships? Cody actually held a lot of versions of the WWE Tag Team titles during his career, including the World Tag Team Championship, these championships, the Bronze Championships, right? And yes, even the Skittles. People, I give to you Hulk Hogan with the Spinner Championship and the World Heavyweight Championship. Now, the World Championship is nothing special. It's the WCW title, which he held multiple times in WCW, for better or worse, I don't know. But the Spinner Championship, now I wish I could find a better image, but it exists. And I could be wrong. I believe this is one of these celebrations. It was Batista, John Cena, and Hulk Hogan in some six-man tag team match, and they gave him the championship. The same way, John Cena was giving the both of these championships during his retirement by CM Punk and Cody Rhodes, I believe. So this is the same scenario. Hulk Hogan, brother, with the Spinner Championship, brother. It's kind of odd. I remember WWE even teasing John Cena versus Hulk Hogan at one point in some press conference, but it never happened. One of the biggest missed opportunities since Hulk Hogan was still active in the WWE and faced guys like Shawn Michaels and Randy Orton. Oh yeah, people, this exists. I actually have this episode on my computer and I want to make a video. Bret Hart actually did win the United States Championship on Raw in 2010. You might be saying, how? He's not wrestling. Even his WrestleMania 26 match was atrocious. He wasn't wrestling. He was just doing stuff kinda slowly. Well, we did get a match where we saw Bret Hart versus The Miz and the Hart Dynasty. Smith, Tyson Kidd, they helped him win the United States Championship. So this actually exists. He actually won the United States Championship, and this is not just some photo shoot attire. That's how he was wrestling pretty much. Bret Hart as the United States Champion in 2010. It does look odd because this kind of looks photoshopped anyway. I really want to make that video, by the way, of that episode of Monday Night Raw because I barely remember much. Kurt Angle with the Spinner WWE Championship. Now, it never happened. I can see in this picture he's holding John Cena's championship. I gotta be honest, I don't necessarily remember the rivalry. Yeah, it also looks kinda odd, but honestly, when it comes to Kurt Angle, during this period, I can only imagine him with the World Heavyweight Championship. I can't imagine him with the Intercontinental Championship, the United States Championship, and the Spinner Championship, right? Not even the, well, maybe the tag team titles. I don't know what it is about it. Again, this video is hard to explain. It's dumb as hell. but it's, to me, intriguing. I love random shit like this. I would guess this is around 2005 or 6, right? Before the EC, or perhaps during ECW. Maybe he actually came out, challenged the WWE champion. I don't know. I don't remember. If you have any information, feel free to comment in the comments below. Now, people, I give to you the big show with the Intercontinental Championship. This is not that weird to me, but again, some of these are my picks, some of these are picks from the internet. So, I do remember this. He was facing Cody, you know, the table spot where he landed with his feet and it broke, the WrestleMania 28 match with Cody Rhodes, I believe, where he won the championship. It's not that weird, but the attire is so 2010s and the championship is so, 90s. It is kind of weird. And you know, it's kind of crazy how the white championship would kind of show you that this is a women's style nowadays. But he won that championship fair and scored. He won that championship. Now, this is the only picture I could find, but somebody said, I give you the Great Khali with the Spinner Championship. Now, this is weird. I don't think he never won that championship, obviously, but this is the only picture I could find, so I could only imagine there was a rivalry between the Great Khali and John Cena, which did happen. I remember it being a big deal. I was watching as a kid, and people hated Khali, loved John Cena, all that shit, right? So he probably stole the championship and gave an interview. Not much of a talker. This was before he danced. You know, this was before he danced. But this is the only picture I could find. And you can see the championship spinning. The W is in a wrong position, so this was definitely about John Cena. Speaking of John Cena with the World Tag Team Championship. I don't find that weird. He won that championship with Batista, and I could be wrong. I feel like with Shawn Michaels too when Triple H was injured. So it's not that weird to me, but a lot of people said John Cena with the World Tag Team Championship. It's odd. Well, especially since I was watching wrestling at the time, like really into wrestling, this is pretty normal to me. And I gotta tell you, I probably told this a million times before, this is my favorite version of any tag team championship in professional wrestling. I know it's a wild-ass take, something about it, man. Probably just nostalgia, but I always loved that championship. The other titles, the blue ones from SmackDown, were also really beautiful. Now, a lot of people are saying Triple H with the Spinner Championship, and this is a weird picture. His hair is not wet. Triple H is not wet. He's dry. He's dry. So it looks like Stephanie McMahon doing an impersonation of Triple H in some kind of way. This looks kind of odd, and he has a Spinner Championship on Triple H, always looked like it doesn't belong in this era. And I'm not even talking about the booking. It just didn't feel like it really belongs on Triple H, who always had this Viking look, and he's walking around with a toy. I do have a better picture, though. It's Triple H with the Spinner Championship, WrestleMania 25, where he, I believe, defeated Randy Orton. And it doesn't necessarily look bad, it's just that on certain wrestlers, it's hard to take him seriously as a champion. Like I've said, it's like The Undertaker with the Spinner Championship. What are we doing at this point? When it comes to John Cena, Randy Orton, Edge, these are cocky or, it's their gimmick type of characters. When it comes to Triple H, it always seemed a bit odd. I'll give you this though. A lot of people said Jeff Hardy. As a matter of fact, I would say even though the championship fit the most on John Cena, the close second is Jeff Hardy because he always had this, interesting character, dare I say. Yes, Shawn Michaels as a world heavyweight champion. So, it looks odd. I can't imagine him with the Spinner Championship, and even when this happened, it looks a bit odd. I don't know, I wasn't watching wrestling at the time, so I only found out he won the championship years and years later, right? Like, this was before 2004 when I started watching. So yes, and also the championship looks a bit different, looks bigger. It looks kind of too big anyway. It's hard to explain. It looks like the WCW title more than the WWE title. Now I decided to include this one, Goldberg with the Universal Championship, because, wow. I mean, we got used to it, right? Like, it's so hated, we got used to it. The championship is not necessarily well liked. Goldberg winning the championship, the moment was atrocious where he beat Kevin Owens. But like, thinking about it, Goldberg, a serious character, walking around with a red title. God, I hate this era of professional. Well, SmackDown was good, but the visuals of it, right? Like what WWE tried to achieve. I hated it. Like, every championship was blue, red, even the women's championships, the tag team championships. It didn't have any grittiness. It wasn't gritty. And I want WWE to be gritty. Nothing crazy here, just John Cena with the undisputed title. He won that against JBL, and maybe even during this segment, he actually debuted the WWE Spinner Championship, right? I will say it looks odd because it's John Cena, Mr. Spinner Championship. Kind of looks good. I like that. I can take it a bit more seriously. One of my favorite belts, actually. I like this one. Speaking of Jonathan Anthony Felix Cena Jr., I always found it weird when he held the World Heavyweight title. It didn't fit him, right? Am I crazy here? I know he held the championship multiple times, but he was always the spinner championship guy. Even when he held the other versions of the WWE title, it made more sense than him holding the World Heavyweight Championship. I don't know, it just felt kinda odd to me always. Now, I've seen a lot of people saying Batista with a spinner title. I will disagree. When he's coming out with drip like this, I think it looks wonderful. Obviously, he's synonymous with the World Heavyweight Championship. You know, Edge, Batista, Triple H, and Goldberg. Probably the wrestlers who are synonymous with the World Heavyweight Championship, especially in the WWE, right? I think the drip kind of fixes it anyway, man. If we're talking like the 2008 Batista, I can see your point, but this version of Batista, Hollywood kind of Batista anyway, and he's coming out with this fancy-looking ass championship, I think it looks pretty good. Another one that people included a lot, which is CM Punk with the Intercontinental Championship. Now it's not his ball just looking at me. Oh my god, we need to move it. You know, I don't find it weird because I remember the episode where he won that championship. I believe so. I believe it was against William Regal. In fact, this is one of my earliest CM Punk memories, him with the Intercontinental Championship. But yes, it's a bit odd. Yes, people, The Rock held the Spinner Championship for a couple of nights. He won the Spinner Championship against CM Punk. Horrible decision, probably. We need to talk about that in the future. But he said, I'm not gonna spin this bitch. We don't like that. We don't like that. So he introduced a new championship in the WWE, the WWE logo, which is still pretty much used today. The only difference is it said champion and the previous WWE logo, right? But The Rock said, it doesn't work for me, brother. So especially seeing this in that era, it's really odd because the image quality or lack of it, you can already see the other championship. You know, maybe the style overstayed its welcome. And that's exactly what they did. They changed it. And people, I believe this segment is the last time we actually saw the WWE title. I always kinda wished CM Punk was the one to retire the championship because that's what he said. Once I win this title, the spinner bitch is gone. Finally, I decided to include this one. Brock Lesnar. Nothing odd about this picture, but I just tried to imagine him with the World Heavyweight Championship only. And I guess it would look kinda odd. Not that he held two championships for very long. I could be wrong, it only took him a few days or maybe even a day for them to debut the brand new championship. They merged it and that's when we got the WWE title. But instead of this championship, we got the pretty much current one with black, right? It had the new WWE logo, I believe. But let me know in the comments below. Maybe there are some pictures I missed. Thank you so much for watching this video. The Great One. Peace, love, and hugs. It's been a pleasure.